Hey there. So today we're going to talk about something really powerful and maybe a little tough. We're going to reframe one of the hardest things anyone can go through, growing up in a toxic family. We're going to explore this idea that maybe, just maybe, that painful past wasn't a mistake or a curse, but something else entirely. Something like an initiation in disguise. Some souls seem to arrive gently into this world, but others are born into fire. They're born into homes where love feels, I don't know, conditional, where the silence is actually louder and more painful than any yelling could ever be. If that quote hits you right in the gut, then you're in the right place. This is for you. So it all leads to this one huge question. What if everything you've ever been told, and let's be honest, everything you've ever told yourself about your past is just wrong? What if that thing you see as your biggest wound is actually the doorway to your greatest strength? All right, so first, let's just acknowledge the story we all know, the one we've probably been living with for years. It's that old, familiar narrative of damage and dysfunction. The common belief is pretty simple and pretty brutal. Toxic families create damaged people. Full stop. And that story, it casts you as the victim of your own life, forever trying to recover from a bad start. And this damage story? It shows up in a few really specific ways. First, it tells you that your childhood is this giant handicap you have to drag around, that your main job in life is to fix yourself so you can finally be normal, whatever that means. It tells you your sensitivity, that deep feeling part of you, isn't a gift, it's a flaw. And the whole goal is just to heal from your past, like you need to cut it off and leave it behind forever. But what if that whole story has it backwards? This is where we get to what I like to call the great reframe. It's a totally radical new way of looking at your entire journey. This, right here, is the core idea. What if it wasn't damage? What if it was an initiation? Like a spiritual training ground that was specifically designed to forge the exact strengths and gifts that you have right now. And look, this isn't just some nice, fluffy, feel-good idea. It's actually rooted in the work of the incredible psychologist Carl Jung. He noticed something really interesting. The people with the deepest wisdom, the healers, the truth tellers, they almost never came from perfect, happy homes. Their tough childhoods were the very fire that shaped them. So, to really understand this initiation, we first have to look at a very specific role you might have been playing your whole life without even knowing it: the family scapegoat. Think of a dysfunctional family like a pressure cooker. All that unspoken tension, all those secrets, it has to go somewhere. The family scapegoat is the person who gets unconsciously picked to carry all of it, all the blame, all the shame, all the pain. And this is where we flip the script completely. You weren't picked because you were the most broken. You were picked because you were the most aware. You weren't too sensitive. You were the family's emotional alarm system. You weren't difficult. You were the one who was perceptive enough to see the truth and honest enough to feel it. You weren't the troublemaker. You were the solution trying to break free. I love this metaphor. You were the canary in the coal mine. You were the one who could feel the poison in the air when everyone else was pretending to breathe just fine. You were like a tuning fork, vibrating with truth in a family that was determined to stay out of tune. They didn't reject you because you were wrong. They rejected you because your very existence made their lives uncomfortable. Okay, so if this was all an initiation, that's great. But how do you actually, do it? How do you turn all that pain into genuine power? Well, the path for that is a process Jung called shadow work. Now, the most important thing to get about shadow work is that it's not about getting rid of your anger or your grief or your intensity. No way! It's about realizing those very feelings are actually sources of incredible power, just waiting for you to plug them in. It's about integrating all of it to become whole. The process kind of breaks down into 3 phases. First up is recognition. This is where you start to ask, wait a minute, is this anxiety even mine? Or am I carrying it for my parents, my grandparents? The second phase is integration. Here, you stop fighting with your feelings. Your anger, which you were told was a problem, becomes the fuel for setting amazing boundaries. And third is alchemization. This is where you take all that integrated energy and you channel it into your life's purpose. Your scars literally become your superpowers. And you know what? This isn't just theory. Researchers actually have a name for this: post-traumatic growth. And it's not about bouncing back to who you were. It's about using the struggle to become someone greater than you ever could have been before. It transforms you in these 5 key ways. Your trauma, when you work with it, is the path to your spiritual development. And now we zoom out to the biggest picture of all. Because this work, it's not actually just for you. Your healing has a much, much bigger mission, a generational one. We now know that trauma can be passed down through our genes, through generations. That anxiety you feel, it could be an echo from an ancestor you never even met. So when you choose to feel it, to heal it, you're not just doing it for you. You are breaking a chain. You are doing the work for your entire family line. So think of yourself as the appointed alchemist of your lineage. You were the one chosen because you were strong enough to carry all of that inherited pain and conscious enough to finally turn it into gold. In a way, you're the one your ancestors have been waiting for. And this is what ties it all together. Your deep empathy, your sharp intuition, your sensitivity, these aren't some consolation prize you got for having a rough childhood. They are the highly specialized, custom-made tools you needed to complete this sacred mission. Nothing was a mistake. So I'll just leave you with this. You've probably spent a long, long time believing you were the broken branch on your family tree. But are you ready now? Are you ready to finally claim your true role as the root of something brand new?